One thing you can't do is when you sell something to somebody, trying to change it later, the requirements of what they have to do to be able to use the purchased item is never going to go over well with them. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, Game On, where we just keep on gaming on. I'm Lucky, and today I'm bringing you a little bit of the Helldivers 2 controversy. So, it is currently 6 o'clock, May 4th, 2024. So 2 days ago, this announcement came out. Let's read it together here. This was posted by Spitz, the community manager for Arrowhead, who developed Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 account linking update. Attention Helldivers. Due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. See details below in this post. Quick aside, they did have that on the page. It is right here. You can see it. Incorporates third-party DRM, end project, Game Guard, requires third-party account, PlayStation Network, support linking to Steam account, requires agreement to a third-party EULA, Helldivers 2 EULA. So that is true. It has been there the whole time. I'll give them credit for that. That hasn't changed. Let's go back to the original announcement. Account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values of safety and security provided on PlayStation and PlayStation Studios games. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior. It also allows those players who have been banned the right to appeal. So, what he means by that is the fact that there are... well, I'll tell you what he says right here. This is his exact words. It's very hard for Sony to track player accounts. Steam doesn't allow us to have any way to keep track of unique player IDs through our systems, and since players on Steam can have all duplicate usernames, if we get a report of a user named John, for example, we have no idea which of the 450,000 players named John we're trying to ban. But if they have a unique Sony ID linked to their Steam account, we can tell exactly which John it is and ban them easily. So Steam doesn't really have any of that kind of stuff, because they don't store your information like that. Require that of you, but PlayStation Network does. Now, PlayStation Network is owned by Sony, right? The problem people have with this is that Sony has had, well, numerous data breaches we're well aware of. Let's look at this article here by Miss Catherine Reed from Firewall Times. This is an online newspaper. Sony data breaches, full timeline through 2023. So this is the most recent, October 2023. Sony notifies employees of data breach. In early October, Sony notified 6,791 current former employees that their data had been compromised by a data breach earlier that year. September 2023, Sony investigates alleged hack. On September 25th, the hacker group Ransom VC claimed to have stolen 260 gigabytes of proprietary data from Sony. By the hacker's description, all of Sony's systems. Oh man, August 2017, hacker group accesses Sony social media accounts. In August 2017, a group named Armine gained access to Sony PlayStation social media accounts, began posting claims that it accessed the PlayStation Network database and collected registration information, including usernames and emails. December 2014, PlayStation Network taken down by Christmas DDoS attack. While this attack didn't involve stolen data, a December 2014 DDoS attack did make for less than joyous Christmas up to 160 million gamers. A group called Lizard Squad claimed responsibility for taking down the networks, overloading the systems to ensure others couldn't make use of the services. Now I remember this one, this was huge. In late November 2014, a hacker group with ties to North Korea calling themselves the Guardians of Peace stole mountains of data from Sony Pictures Network. Within the treasure trove of information were plans and scripts for unreleased films, personal data on employees and families, internal emails, salary information, and a ton of other information relating to Sony properties and personnel. That was a bad one. In May 2011, this is right before that, Sony announced that personal data from 25 million Sony online entertainment customers' accounts were stolen. Along with names, addresses, birth dates, and phone numbers, hackers also gathered information about PC games customers purchased through the system. Hackers also gathered information about PC games customers purchased through the system. Right there, guys, 2011. 13 years ago that happened to them. April 2011, hackers accessed personal data of 77 million Sony PlayStation Network users. Mid-2011, PlayStation Network was hacked and personal information on 77 million account holders, essentially every user, was stolen. Every user. Let's read that one more time. In mid-April 2011, Sony PlayStation's network was hacked. Personal information on 77 million account holders, essentially every user, was stolen. The incident also led to a several-week service outage, preventing users from being able to access the PlayStation network. So their security was so bad, every single person basically got their information taken, and the network got shut down for 2 weeks. So that's a little bit of the history. I think that I counted up 9 different incidents all the way back to 2008. We won't read these last couple. All the way back to 2008, there was 9 different incidents, and that's why people were having a little bit of a hard time with this. Now, next part of this announcement. As such, as of May 6th, 2 days from now, guys, that's Monday, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May 30th. Will be required to have linked Steam account, PlayStation Network account by June 4th. PlayStation Network accounts are free and easy to set up using this link. We understand that while this may be an inconvenience to some of you, this step will help us continue to build a community that you are all proud to be part of. Many thanks for your continued support of Helldivers 2, Sony Interactive Entertainment. So, they posted that May 2nd, right away. It was met with a bunch of backlash. Everybody wanted refunds. People didn't want to do it, mostly because they didn't want to give their information to Sony. They didn't want to create a PlayStation Network account that they didn't feel like they needed for a game they had already been playing for months and already purchased. One thing you can't do is when you sell something to somebody, trying to change it later, the requirements of what they have to do to be able to use the purchased item is never going to go over well with them. Now, what has happened in the last few days because of this, let's look at the reviews here. Mostly negative in the last 30 days, 23% positive, that's terrible. It has turned the game from mostly positive to mixed reviews. If we come over here and we look at the graph, this is wild. So, April 18th, 7,442 positive, 800 negative. We'll just round these off here. April 25th, 7 days later, 6,967 positive. So it went down a little bit, probably less people playing it, right? Down 500. Negative reviews are up. Oh gosh, almost 1,500. They're 2,552 negative. Okay, yeah, that was April 25th. Now, May 2nd, when the announcement came out, 5,621 positive reviews, 110,000 negative reviews. That's crazy. So that's what brought this down to mixed reviews overall. So if you go to the recent views, look at this. This was doing really good for a long time right here. You know, really, really solid. Then right here, May 3rd, 36,000 negative reviews, 71,000 negative reviews the next day, May 4th. May 5th so far, they already have negative reviews on it. I don't know how that is because it's only the 4th day. I don't know how the hell that is, but I'm sure it's going to be huge tomorrow too. So the negative reviews are flying in. People are asking for refunds. The game devs, the community manager Spitz, responded to one argument of somebody saying, well, what about these countries that aren't allowed to have PSN networks for whatever reasons? I'm not really sure. He said, well, they don't have to do it then, and everybody else has to. And now I'm thinking to myself, well, if it's not a requirement for security or something like that, how come certain people have to do it and certain people don't? It's almost like you want to make everybody that can do it, so that you can have more control over them and get access to their information, is what I feel. So anywho, that is crazy. Now let's go over here to this article that talks about the timeline of events. So we jump in right here. Sony is the publisher and needs a way to ban PC players. Right now they can only do that by having to send a name to Valve and wait for Valve to take action. Wait for Valve to action the ban. So right now they're not being able to reach their players and ban them personally. They have to wait for Valve to approve it. Obviously something with that process they don't like. If players are required to have a PSN linked to their Steam, Sony can just ban the PSN to keep them off the game instead of having to go through Valve. So it's all about control at the end of the day. And like I said, it was a requirement in the very beginning, and they did waive it. But like I said, I don't think you could bring it back now after people have played something that they've already purchased for so long. Now, there are some crazy people on Reddit, right? But I will say this, as of 10 hours ago, they have started giving refunds. This was 10 hours ago on May 4th, May 4th today. Hello, Mike Oxlong. We've issued the refund to your Steam wallet. The funds will be shown now as pending, will become available to spend within 7 days. He's in Europe. Subtotal was £33 and tax was £7. Purchased March 8th. So his total refund will be for £40, basically $39.99. Okay, so whatever that equals. And he had 123 hours in the game too, so he got his money's worth and he gets his money back on that. So he's in the EU. I don't agree with the terms. Also mentioned the GDPR and aspects related to the consent. Yeah, so we'll see. People will probably get their refunds. The devs are already walking everything back and saying, yeah, please give us negative reviews, so that Sony realized that they really screwed up by doing that. But how much they really knew about it, especially with the way they've treated everybody else during this game, during the entire lifetime of the game, as far as lying about updates, lying about improvements, lying about various other things, I'm not sure how much he didn't know about it. But for right now, we'll give Arrowhead the benefit of the doubt. We'll give Spitz the benefit of the doubt, even though he's already said some things that have made me question. And at the end of the day, I would suggest giving a negative review, asking for your refund, and not playing the game until they change this. And if enough of us do that, they will definitely change this. This is Lucky here at Game On, where we just keep on gaming on, bringing you a little bit of the Helldivers 2 controversy. That's what we think about it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.